Hello, Cyberhooters. Chuck Taylor here, co-founder and chief go-getter here at Cyberhoot. Welcome to episode 4 of Shoot the Hoot Raw, where the updates are real, the insurance demands are ridiculous, and I'm one sip away from oversharing. All right, now I'm set. All right, cool. Been running today. Just got off of a sales call with a young man in Australia. Great sales call. Lots of questions. Hopping into today's episode though, coming in hot and heavy. Right, cyber insurance wants blood. Right, we're talking about cybersecurity insurance today. So, buckle up, birds. Here's what we're crashing into today. All right, our flight plan: cyber insurance, the security Hunger Games. Our nerd update, what's new, what's coming, what's broken. We got to go over that. Open mic. Please send some questions and answers over. I can definitely answer the questions I have here, but I'd really like to see some questions from you guys. I have 2 here that we're going to go over. Then lastly, the horror story, right? Our horror story of the week, the claim that got denied after the breach. All right. So cyber insurance. So it's so funny. I can't talk about insurance period, think about insurance period without thinking about Chris Rock, right? He did this great stand-up one time where he said, you know, we give you guys, insurance companies $500 a month. He goes, in case, excuse my French, in case shit happens. He goes, but if shit doesn't happen, should we get our money back? I wish it did work that way, right? But it doesn't. So, but we need insurance, right? It's a necessary part of life. We got to have it, right? Especially in America, we have to have it. So, cyber insurance, the security Hunger Games, right? In order to get cyber insurance today, you got to check certain boxes, right? And those boxes are here: multi-factor authentication, training, endpoint protection, backups, incident response plans, and written security policies. What's going to happen is your customers are going to come to you and go, I need cyber insurance. And they're going to want you, the MSP, to check these boxes, right? You have to be able to check those boxes for them. So if you can survive the checklist, you'll win the coverage. If not, better luck next time. All right, let's hop into the first one here. Multi-factor authentication. Lock it down or get locked out. We can't just say that our complex passwords are going to work nowadays. Nowadays, they want you to have multi-factor authentication. Now, I know passkeys have come on the scene as well, and I believe they're accepted for insurance, but the multi-factor authentication is definitely required. You can't just put a password on there and think that you're safe. Passwords are cracked all the time, or they're either cracked, or they're discovered, or they're leaked. You name it, it's out there. So you got to have more than that. Let me tell you a story one time when I was doing a project years back, and one of the projects that I was developing, I had multiple developers on the project, and they were fixing something in the login process for this platform. So they made the login process better. Things moved on. We merged it into our master branch. We pushed it to production. Everything's going fine. Customers are happy with the login flow. Everything looks good. But then about 3 days later, I get a phone call and says, Chuck, we got a problem. What's the problem? He goes, I can log in with any password. Any password, what's that mean? He goes, if I've got the right email address, I can put any password in there and it'll take me to the next step. I go, really? So he was like, but we do have 2-factor enabled. I'm like, oh, that's good. And of course, we had 2-factor enabled for the entire platform. So I checked out the code and come to find out our developer was iterating very quickly through the login process. And what he did was he put into the password authentication piece, he put a return true, means passwords matched, passwords are good, return true, out of the method. And what happened was everything, any password you put in, whether it be the letter A or 1, 2, 3, whatever you put in, would log you in. Now, it didn't technically log you all the way in because we had 2-factor in place. So I was able quickly to find that. And I did confirm in their production environment, they had 2-factor authentication in place. So there was no compromises. Nothing happened, thank the Lord. But if it wasn't for the 2-factor authentication, we would have been in trouble. So of course we fixed the problem. The developer didn't follow the process for putting in temporary code. We solved that problem too. And then we pushed out to production. So passwords are important, but multi-factor more important. Got to have that enabled. All right. Next, let's talk about security awareness training. Okay. If they're not trained, you're to blame. It's funny. I was talking with one of our partners over in Norway, and he goes, Chuck, do you realize that if there's a breach or there's a problem by one of the employees, and we don't offer the right training or the right resources, we could be held personally liable for those damages. I was like, I didn't realize that. I mean, that's why like I use an LLC. If anything happens, the LLC takes the hit, right? Because like, no, we could be personally liable in Norway. And I'm like, wow. So the training is ridiculously important. Now, here's the thing. I don't think any users out there, anyone's saying, yay, cybersecurity training. That's okay, because Cybergroup's working on that, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it fun, entertaining, and educational, right? And we're constantly improving the content, the platform, just making it a better experience over around. Our gamification, our hoot ranks, all those things that we're actually doing, boom, putting all that in to make the cybersecurity awareness training more fun and more entertaining, right? Now, there are lots and lots of good companies out there, but I do tend to think that Cyber is the best, and I know you've heard of us, right? So I did that training in place. I recommend monthly video training. I recommend at least every other month Hootfish training, if you're familiar with Hootfish, if not every month. And if you want to do a Tapfish, which a little bit more negative reinforcement, but if you really want to do it, I would push it out to once a quarter, right? And then turn into something positive with the Hootfish after it. So I think that's a good approach, right? Next, endpoint protection. Still rocking that 2000 antivirus, right? So I tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you, seeing this CD and getting this image, it really took me back. I'm kind of old, but it took me back, right? Just getting the CDs in the mail. Like, hey, that new CD I can actually upgrade. Or when I bought one of my first computers and stuff, it came with CDs to put in to install software, right? So the old school stuff. So gotta keep your antivirus and everything up to date, but it's more just antivirus nowadays. There's all types of things, right, that you can install and work and leverage here. So if you're running this old security software that doesn't update itself anymore, then it's just, like it says there, it's just software. It's doing nothing, next to nothing, right? So if it's 2025, you're still using that same antivirus that you installed in the year 2000, I've got some bad news. And a USB stick full of malware for you. All right? So solve that problem. All right. Next, data backups. Back it up like it's your business depends on it, right? And your business does depend on it. I mean, tell you, nothing worse than having some kind of failure or some kind of breach or some kind of loss, and you can't recover the data, right? I mean, I'm thankful that Cybergroup's got that covered because that's scary. That's very, very scary as a business owner. It's scary as a developer. It's scary to think that I have something and then it's gone and I couldn't control it. So your backups are ridiculously important. If you don't have a backup, no mercy. Insurance companies are going to say you don't have any backups, you're on your own, right? So you've got these backups in place. If you've got backups, daily backups, that's great. Bonus points if those backups are off-site and actually testable. Not just stored on Dave's dusty hard drive in the server closet, right? You got to have it so you can get to it, you can restore it, you can test it. Now, I know in cyber, we've done this a few times where we've had not only just losing data, but you can have data that is corrupted sometimes. Little things that happen, right? These backups are critical. I know in cyber, we've had a couple of issues here and there. We've been able to very, very quickly restore data and get right back to it in a matter of like 15 minutes. So get the backups, put them into place, have them there. You need to maintain your business, but you also need to get your cybersecurity insurance. All right, next, incident response plan. Crisis mode is not a strategy, right? I'm not sure everyone dies is a great emergency plan. So, incident response plan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like writing plans like that. I'm not big. I see these incident response plans and they're long documents, and I'm like, I'm glad I don't have to write this. So my co-founder, Craig Taylor, writes these. I kind of think he likes it. He sadly likes it. But these incident response plans, they are important, right? You have to have a plan in place. And it can't be for you to freak out and unplug everything and hope that the FBI shows up in time, right? You can't do that. You've got to be prepared. Have an incident response plan. Do some tabletop exercises with that plan to make sure you're covered in case something bad goes wrong, right? You got to be on top of it. Because listen, it's so funny. When something happens, whether it be something in your company, computers, in your life, an asset, do you want to react or do you want to respond, right? The incident response plan allows you to respond to the problem, stop and respond based upon the plan. Don't have that, you're probably going to react, and that can be a very bad thing. All right, let's see. Lastly, what we have, number 6 on that list is written security policies. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist, right? Like policies written on napkins, I don't think they'll, I don't think they'll pass, right? You've heard the write it down on a napkin idea, right? Doesn't work that way with written security policies. Again, I'm not much of a writer. I don't like writing these things. I don't like dealing with security policies besides understanding them. And for me, the simpler they are, the better. But I definitely don't want to write them. Again, our co-founder Craig loves to do this kind of stuff. He got them all written down, lots of templates and things for you. So, if your policies are still in like a Google Doc called, security stuff version 3 final revised with a 2 in parentheses, the answer is you don't have written policies, right? And here's the other thing too. Not only do they need to be written, you need to have documented acceptance of these policies. What's need to write a policy? Hey, I wrote the policy, you put it in the drawer and no one sees it. You've got to push these policies out to your end users. They've got to see them, they've got to acknowledge them, and they've got to re-up them. So for example, think about like a acceptable use policy. Well, if you're doing a acceptable use policy, you want to be able to put that into a platform, send it out to your users, have them read it, sign it, and note that you're compliant. You're going to need that when auditing comes or when you go to submit a claim. You need that in place, right? So it's one of the things that we offer in Cyber. In our Power Platform today, we offer the policy module at the top. Now, today we don't have that in Autopilot, but we're creating that right now underneath a power up called Custom Hoots. And Custom Hoots is going to give you the ability to add a document, a video link, to the actual platform to write your own questions with it, etc. So that'll be out. I'm anticipating that's going to be out in about 6 weeks. So you'll be able to turn that on, put your written security policies together, send them out to users for review, etc., and then document that they've accepted things, right? Personally, again, I think the simpler the policies, the better. I tell you, I dread getting a policy and reading through 20 pages. I'm like, oh man, just give me the TLDR, right? Give me the checklist. What are the things I need to make sure I do? Let me check those off and I'm good to go. All right. Cyberhood does offer in our Power Platform and soon in our Autopilot platform a bunch of templates for written security policies, acceptable use policies, things of that nature. They'll be available to you very, 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 very soon. Right. So that was the last one of the 6 things that you need to make sure you have in place in order to get that cybersecurity insurance, right? You got to be able to survive the checklist. You got to have the multi-factor, the awareness training, preferably with Cyberhood, right? Endpoint protection, data backups, incident response plan, and written security policies. You got to check each one of those boxes. And if you can make checking that box easier for your customers, they'll come to you in a heartbeat. Actually, it might be a very, very good sales site to go after and say, hey, look, you want cyber insurance? We'll help you check these boxes. This is how. And tell them what it costs to do that, right? Put that in place as soon as possible because cyber insurance, it's no longer a safety blanket, right? Hey, I got insurance, like I'm covered, right? It doesn't necessarily work that way. Today, it's a contract. And if you don't meet that fine print, they'll leave you alone in the storm. So you've got to be on top of it, right? You got to have your checklist, you got to have everything checked. So when you're going to submit that claim, boom, you have an obvious approval for the claim, right? So now listen, I don't know about you guys, and listen, I work with a lot of insurance companies before, personally and professionally. And there's some really, really good ones out there, and I like to work with the good ones, right? But there's some that are not so good either. So I'm not saying who's good or who's bad, but what I can tell you pretty generally in the bad ones, it's all smiling and happiness and fun when you're signing to pay that audit, right, or to pay for that insurance each month. But when you go to submit that claim, it's like, okay, here we go, and you have to sit down and you have to justify every single piece, and you want to make sure you have that done. All right, so that is our topic for the week. Hopefully we knocked that out pretty quickly for you. Let's hop into our nerd update. Let's see what's new, what's fixed, and what we swear was working yesterday, right? That happens sometimes too. So let's start with the first one here. So we fixed some typos and display bugs and our cyber ranks and hoot rank tables. So it turns out even our ranks needed a spell check. We made mistakes too, right? I remember it was like we had a CYBRE versus CYBER. So we've cleaned that up in the platform. CyberRank now accurately shows completed and late assignments. CyberRank actually now tells you the truth, even if it hurts a little bit. Corrected compliance percentages and reports, because 112% compliant was impressive, but also totally wrong. We resolved email issues with attack, phish, and manager notifications. So now our emails are actually behaving like good little emails now. They're working and doing what they're supposed to do now. Fixed customer name conflicts and hoot ranks. Because it turns out two Bobs were battling for the top spot, and we sold the identity crisis forms. We got that all figured out and in the platform. Talk about features now. Features. A new setting to disable all automated manager emails and autopilot. That's right. Snooze all managers is now available. So you can turn off emails and only emails will go out to managers. We added an alert system that will show you if you got unused paid power-ups. So this alerts you when your power-ups are enabled, you're not actually using. It's like you're ghosting them like an ETS, right? Like, hey, I've signed up, I'm ignoring them, right? So that solves the problem for you. It lets you know about it. And lastly, we updated HA proxy and API endpoints for smoother operations. Let's just say less duct tape and more smooth sailing. All right. Okay, let's hop in and see if we have any questions today. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Oh, nope. Not seeing any. Let me throw one out then. All right. Okay, our questions. What's number one thing insurance carriers are flagging now? Interesting. So number one thing that the insurance companies are flagging right now is missing multi-factor authentication, especially on email, remote access, and admin accounts. So like I said, we start off with multi-factor authentication, that requirement. If you don't show proof of that, boom, they're gonna flag you up immediately and you're probably not gonna get your claim met. So make sure you have the multi-factor in place. One of those sits on the checklist, right? Knock that one out. Top of the list for a reason. All right. Oh, let's see. Here's one. Can I share this one? Oh, can you specify the training recommendations to fulfill cyber and surety requirements? Cadence, phish testing, etc. So to be honest with you, I'm not the guy that knows all of that. What I can tell you is that, let's see here. What I can tell you is that we recommend the monthly cybersecurity training, right? Which is the videos. We also, the cyber insurance companies require you to do phish simulation testing. And so people have always done that with the attack phish in the past, right? So we came out with hoot phish, which is a much more positive approach. And we worked with insurance companies and they said, yes, hoot phish also meets the phish testing approach. We recommend it at least every other month, but every month would be even better. The attack phish stuff, personally, I wouldn't do it. I mean, we see issues with attack phish all the time where people are attacking, sending attack phish out, they're tricking their users and they're getting mad. We saw one where there was a college who tested the entire, I don't know if they tested all their employees, their students, I don't remember specifically, but they tested everything. And what happened was the users got so mad and angry about it that the college had to put out a, hey, I'm sorry this happened. We were just trying to do this the right way, etc. Right? We'll hide that one. And let's go back here. Let's see. Can Cyberhood help with insurance questionnaires? Dum, 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 dum. Like my good friend and coworker Katie would say, of course. She goes, of course. I say, can you send out a reminder? She says, of course. So of course Cyberhood can help. We've got a very, very, very strong vCISO team. Check us out over at cyberhoot.com/vCISO, right? Our vCISOs are incredible. They can help you with checking those boxes. They can help you with filling out the questionnaires. They can help you with compromises, breaches, etc. Team is incredible. Highly recommend that you reach out to them. So of course, yes, Cyberhoot can definitely help you with your cyber insurance questionnaires. All right, let's see what's next. I'm a little excited too to see what's next. Oh, our Cyberhoot story. That's right. Let me tell you a tale of tragedy, typos, and a total lack of training, aka the claim that got denied after the breach. A small firm paid for cyber insurance, thinking it was the get out of breach free card, right? They got hit with ransomware. They tried to file a claim for $250,000, but the carrier denied it because, anybody have any ideas? They couldn't prove their staff completed security training. No logs, no policies, no payout. They had coverage on paper, but not in practice. Now, the real company name here was not disclosed, but indeed, this is a very, very common scenario where companies say they're doing something, but aren't really. You know, it's all smiles when you're signing up for that insurance. When it comes to doing an actual claim and taking it in, it's kind of like a proctology exam without, I'll stop there. It's really bad. So be sure that you are following through, you're dotting those I's and crossing those T's, doing it on paper and in practice as well. All right. All right, we're down to our last slide and we're done. So one thing I wanted to mention to you guys, I mentioned last week about shootthehoot@cyberhoot.com email address. It is now live and it is available. Questions, topics, feedback, etc. Send an email to, I'll put it on the, send an email to shootthehoot@cyberhoot.com. I'll monitor those emails. I will get back to you. I will take feedback. Tell me you don't like my shirt. That's okay. I'm trying to work on a Cyberhoot Hootfish shirt. We're trying to get that over to me. Anything you want, send it over, and I'll definitely respond to you. All right. All right. Well, listen. Thanks for flying with us. Same Hoot time, same Hoot channel next week. Until then, don't click on the sketchy stuff.